firms owned by women, minorities and disabled, reaching 5 billion in spend with diverse suppliers and annually reporting the economic impact. So MetLife is a big entity, right? We are talking big numbers, but in each and every market we are playing local, with the local communities, with the local people who can really serve, who really care about the customer on the long run. And this is my mantra in each and every country I operate, in Europe, in the Middle East, and Asia. Customer is the only important thing in your business. If the customer is happy, you will be successful.
That should be the mantra overall. A question starting with the two of you. It always puzzled me that companies adopted environmental principles quickly, and they were proud to talk about it. But the social part of ESG took a lot longer. In the US, the social part, the social impact part, happened because of Me Too and because of Black Lives Matter. It took a crisis to make companies realize, oh my God, how are we treating our employees, the communities that we serve? How are we treating the women? How are we treating people at the margins of society? So that sort of puzzled me. Why is the S part and the G part harder than the E part, which is environmental? Yes?
Okay. The environmental part is a global issue and is impact everyone. That's one thing, and it's gonna impact our children, in the long term. So it's a thing, and also it's a thing that we have to act now. Otherwise, in year 2050 or 2065, as the COP26 has already announced, it's not going to happen if we don't start now. So that's the urgency. And the other thing is that it's the area of that where we can measure. When things become transparent and be able to measure, people will get understanding. And the other thing is that there's an official platform that COP26 that happened a few months ago. So there's a body who govern, the change. That's what happened. But I have to say, ESG has to go together. Environmental, social, and the governance. It has to go together for, to make the sustainability happen. So,
Irene, I think on the social front, because of COVID, a lot of acceleration happened the past 2 years, not only in terms of helping communities cope with COVID, but helping our people cope with a number of mental health issues. So we've seen many companies, including KPMG in the Philippines, put up a lot of programs to help people deal with the stress and the pressures brought by COVID, and also the shift in the lifestyles that we have. So it's trying to give them some ways to relax, to unwind. We've had virtual hobby clubs teaching them how to plant, how to cook, prepare for Christmas dinners. And these are part of the employee welfare programs that we're looking at and has become most critical in the last 2 years.
Well, why did it take so long? As somebody who's been a women's rights advocate for 40 years, it always frustrated me that, people feel badly about an animal becoming extinct, but not worry about the women who are being harassed at work. And so it took, like I said, crises to make companies pay attention. And also it became part of their branding when a CEO or a board director or a senior executive becomes charged with discriminatory practices. So that's why I asked that question. Yes, environmental is easier to measure. You can see it. It's hard to see harassment, hard to see unequal pay. So, let me pass on that question to all of you as well. Why is the S and G part, the social and governance part, harder for companies to deal with? in terms of ESG principles? Anyone? Go ahead, Diane. You look like you're ready.
I think it's because the metrics to measure is also is not really clear. To quantify that is not easy. Yeah, unlike the E part, you know, carbon emission, water, the waste management, and so on, so on. That is easier to measure. But for the S and G part, are quite difficult to measure. Actually, the investment on the S and G part is much lower compared to the E part in certain industry. For example, like in my industry, yeah. But for the S and G, I think for the lack of metrics and the tools for tracking is actually lag behind compared to the E part. The other part is that most of the society still think that take it for granted. Yeah, take it for granted for the, especially for the S part. Only recently, for instance, like in my industry, customers now they are very aware about data privacy. In the past, they don't really care about data privacy, but now they demand as the S part for company to actually really protect their data. But still, the measurement and how to track that is still very difficult.
Charatip?
I think it's the hardest because it's what we're dealing with people. That people is not easy. Each individual has its own, mindset, behavior, and if we're going to make the S and G part right, we have to engage people in the right way, motivate them, and do it consistently. So for the S part as a social, I think what we should really embrace is the diversity and also equality and inclusiveness. So how can we do that in the company? And also in my case, we're the public place. So we welcome all kinds of customer, every religious, every nationality, LGBTQ, whatever. So how we can make them feel that they too have the right to do a lot of things equally, and they can express themselves properly, and also being recognized. So that's how we have to have the very good approach to set up the motivation and make them feel that it's their duty to make it happen with themselves, with the society, with the world. Same as the G, because G is like we have to have the proper system in our corporation, in all of our supply chain, and also how to make everybody be aware and set the right system to make it work.
Yeah.
You have to
It has to be
buy them
embedded.
embedded and make them feel what is relevant to them. That's the hardest part.
And also what is relevant to the company's leaders for why to make it happen.
Maybe just one small comment, because I think we are good.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. So, governance. For companies, global companies like MetLife, governance is extremely important, absolutely critically important, because we operate on so many markets, and we have regulators in each and every market.
Right.
And in case we do something wrong, the entire construction may be damaged. So we have to be really very careful on that. And following our MetLife policies in many countries, and majority of countries, is more strict than the local ones. And sometimes the regulator is asking us why you are so strict on that. We did not require. But we have to do it based on our global principles.
Yeah.
This is, again, sustainability. I don't like to have surprises in business. Nobody loves, right? I hate it. I hate surprises. I prefer to have no surprise rather than somebody will tell me, give me a good surprise. No, I'd like to know what will happen as much as I can. But The life brings us sometimes some stuff like COVID. For us,
Or a war.
For us, you know, the COVID was extremely, how to say, bad. Let's be honest, it was bad because insurance is people business, is face-to-face business in majority of cases. How can our agent go and sell when COVID, when lockdown? No way, right? How can we get premium for the policy to stay alive, right? In case in many countries, and specifically in Asia, we have a lot of cash payment till
Right.
now. Specifically like in Bangladesh, so in the countries like in Nepal, still we have a lot of cash payments. So what shall we do? And for us, COVID was like a catalyst of changes. And really how the company and the team, and specifically our female, responded, it's amazing. It's just amazing. Because when the lockdown started, we managed to move all the services for the customer to be done from home in 3 days. Although not everybody have even laptop. So the desktop were transferred. We provided in 3 days all MetLife operation were operational from home because we cannot keep our customer 1 day even without a service because it may be life-threatening in case we
Right.
have like medical coverage. So it was such a
A game changer.
exam for us to exist as a company. And it was a real, not only about sales and service, it's about the jobs. We have a lot of people working for us.
Right.
What they can do, we provided them support. Yes, we paid them money because they cannot earn. How long? We provided them with the digital sales tools. We provided them with the service digital platforms that they can promote this
So
to
you
the customer.
enabled your employees to be able to
Yes.
continue
Yeah.
supporting clients even though the general situation prevented them from doing that.
Absolutely. And
Okay.
we based on that, we thought, why don't we stop on that? Why we cannot just, we cannot just move from physical contact to digital. It's not enough. For example, we in several countries, we launched so-called 360 health application for our customers and for general public as well. And specifically, I'm proud to say about Bangladesh, we have 2 MetLife Bangladesh representatives here, and MetLife Bangladesh, in 2 months' time, 3 months now, reached more than 150,000 registration of this application, more than 100,000, users. So practically, it helps to have a teleconsultation of the doctor. You can know where to go in case you need medical service. You can get health advice. Something what we worked on can really create a value for the customer. I think we have to think more, not only, do and go and sell, and invest. We have to do more than even the customer expects. And this is the future and the core and base for sustainable business.
Well, on that note, looking to the customer to be the service of customers to be the pivot for how a company operates going forward. That's a good note in which to end this part. So I see Tess Mateo with a question. Let's start. We only have time for a couple. No,